friends, it's Laura. Welcome back. So today we're going to go over how I make the Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one yarn work for me. I know this is an older yarn, probably about a year old now, and I'm just now getting around to using it. And I've watched a lot of videos. I've spent a lot of hours on this, and I finally have figured out what works for me, and I'm making them pretty quickly now. The initial learning process took me about 3 hours. It was a long process, but once you work it out, you work it out. So let's start with what I've got going on here. So far I've done 2 different colorways. I don't remember what colorway this was. Hang on, do I have the paper here? Yeah. This was the color Neon Lights. So I did a whole skein of this. The yarn says it makes 14, but I'm finding that they're making 15. So I don't know if that's the case for every single skein. I've only gone through one skein so far, but it made 15. So that's my Neon Lights. And then I'm making a skein of this Lily Pad. This is Lily Pad, which I think is really pretty. The neat thing about these skeins are it tells you what the outside color is. It's like this cream color right here is called Aran, and it that's the color you're going to need to join these together if you're making like a blanket or a bag or a scarf or clothing or anything like that. You're going to need that color in Red Heart to join these together. So I think that's really cool. So without further ado, the first thing you're going to need obviously is the yarn and a hook. This is the biggest challenge. You're going to need to figure out what hook size you need to use with this yarn. This skein recommends you use an eye hook or a 5.5 millimeter. I tried that and it totally didn't work for me. I was running out of yarn constantly. So, which is unfortunate because the eye hook is my favorite crochet hook. So I was really stoked about that, but it did not work. So I had to keep trying. I had to keep going down. I went all the way down to a 4 millimeter. This is a 4.5 millimeter, which is what I'm using now. I went all the way down to a 4 millimeter until I learned some tricks to make the yarn work for me. So I was able to go back up to a 4.5 millimeter. So I'm currently using a 4.5 millimeter, and we're going to work with that. Like I said, that's going to be your biggest challenge, is figuring out what hook size you need to use. If you're finding that you're running out of colors constantly before you make it to the next round, you should be going down a hook size. If you're finding that you have way too much yarn every time, you might want to try going up a hook size. So this first one is always a little tricky because I'm never sure how much yarn I need to leave. So we might need to frog this and redo it. That's something else you need to be okay with. You need to be okay with frogging your work and redoing a row, because you're going to. It's almost inevitable. Let's leave about this much. I'm leaving quite a bit. I'm finding that this yarn, as opposed to the Neon Lights, I have quite a bit to work with at the beginning. So all I did was I made a magic circle and I chained 3. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Magic circle, chain 3. So this isn't a tutorial on how to do, basic crochet things. I'm just going to tell you how to do the square. Chain 3. So what you want to do is have some some double crochets. So into the magic circle, you want 2 double crochets. That chain 3 is going to act as a double crochet. So now you have 3 double crochets, 1 chain 3 and 2 double crochets. Chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And chain 2. And that ended us just about perfectly. This is the color change right here. So that's a little bit extra is okay. You can't, for me, I cannot strive for perfection with these granny squares. It is just a losing battle. So with the magic circle, you're going to want to go ahead and pull tight, and then pick that top stitch right here to join into, slip stitch, and you're good to go. So now what I've learned is you can chain 3, and this is not the way, what we're doing is not the way the Red Heart yarn says to do it on the package. We're going to turn our work over. So we started here, we chained 3, we're going to turn our work over and 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space. Now, generally, the granny square has you do some chains between this stitch, this cluster, and the next cluster. We're going to skip those chains. We're just going to jump right into this next chain 2 space, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. And then chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. And we're going to go into the next chain 2, skip, no chain between them, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then again, no chains here. Go right into the chain 2 in the corner, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So now here is where your constant battle of a game of yarn chicken will begin. You need to go a little further ahead here and see where your next color change is. My color change is right here next to this piece of cat fur. Lovely. Okay, right here. So I've got, you know, this amount of yarn left, and I need to do 3 more double crochets. So I think I'm going to be pretty good. I need to do 3 double crochets and a chain 2. So I think I'm going to be okay. If you weren't going to be okay, I would recommend frogging this, going back to this cluster. If you had too much, I would recommend adding in another double crochet. So you had 4 double crochets, finishing off over here. If you had too little, I would recommend doing 2 double crochets right here and going back and finishing off. In the end, I have made plenty of these squares where there are 2, 3, and 4 double crochets in those spots. And in the end, it just doesn't matter. So don't be too hard on yourself if you run out, or you have too little, or you have too much. It's okay. Just make it work. 1. So I'm going in this space right here. This is where the other 3 double crochets were at the beginning. I'm doing 3 double crochets. Oops. Chain 2, and I'm going to join in the top here, and I've got a little bit left. I've got not enough to do another double crochet, so that's an okay amount. So we're going to go ahead and chain 3. We're going to turn, and then in this chain 2 space we're going to do 2 double crochets because our chain 3 counts as a double crochet. And then we're going to go to our space right here, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. And then we're going to go to our corner space and do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, go to our space right there, do 3 double crochets, go to our corner space, do 3 double crochets, chain 2, three double crochets, go to our next space, 3 double crochets, go to our corner, 3 double crochets, two chains, 3 double crochets, go to our next space, 3 double crochets, and let's see how much we have left. So we only have, this color change is very hard to see because it goes from dark green to light green. It's right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's right here. So it looks like I have enough for 3 double crochets in the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this corner space right here and do 3 double crochets. So if you didn't have enough for 3 double crochets, you could always do, so I actually have quite a bit left. I have way too much left. So I'm going to do 4 double crochets in this corner. Do I have enough? Do I have too much for that too? I'm going to go back. I'm going to frog it. I'm going to go back to this corner. Back to this corner. And I'm going to do 4 double crochets right here. Then I'm going to go ahead and catch back up. Nothing else has changed. So I'm not going to say out loud what I'm doing. I'm just doing the 3 double crochets there, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet until I catch back up. Okay. Do I have enough for a 4th double crochet there? Not really. Okay. So I'm going to chain 2, slip stitch into the top there, and chain 3. And now we're into the next color. So what I did there is over here, there is now 4 double crochets. I try to keep them spaced evenly. So say on another row say on this light blue row I had to do that, I would have wanted it to be on the opposite corner from where I just did this one. You don't want all of your increases to be end up in the same corner, otherwise you're going to notice it. Same with decreases. You don't want all of your decreases to be in the same corner because you're going to notice it. You kind of want to evenly spread them out throughout the project. So I've done the chain 3. Now we're on the second to last row. 2 double crochet in the corner. Three double crochet in the next space. Something else you can do, if you have too much yarn for one of these rows, you don't have to do chain 2 in the corner, you could do chain 3. Or if you don't have enough yarn, you could do chain 1, which I'll show you in the next row. So chain, double crochet 3 times, chain 2, 3 double crochet, into the corner, 3 double crochet, now here's something else for you. No matter what I did, even if I followed the pattern exactly as it said, they did not lay flat. They curled terribly. So I would recommend blocking these. If you're going to use them for a project, I would recommend it. I plan on doing that for all of mine. I've never blocked anything in my life before, so it'll be my first time doing that, but I think it'll be worth it. I got a little blocking board just for granny squares. I have a lot of skeins of this stuff and I intend on making all of them and making them into bags. I was going to make blankets, but then I changed my mind, so they're going to be bags. Okay, we just did the corner of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. We're back along this final row. And we're about to find out, yarn chicken again. Honestly, this is just one giant game of yarn chicken every single row. I think we're going to have enough. Here's where it changes color, and I think we have enough. This square has been pretty cooperative, honestly. Okay, that's pretty perfect. Okay, I did the 3 double crochets, chain 2, slip stitch into the corner there. It doesn't really matter where you slip stitch into the corner, just pick a stitch and be consistent. The reason we're turning our work every time is it brings these closer together a little bit right here. If you follow the Red Heart instructions, you end up kind of with like a a bar right here, and I don't like the way that looks, so I like having it closer together. So chain 3, this is our final row, and the final row is going to be different. Because for me, and this might be totally different for you guys, so you know, take this with a grain of salt. For me, this last row on both the Neon Lights and the Lily Pad skein, I'd never have enough yarn. Never. To finish the entire even, you know, the entire row, even with my minimized version of it. So what I do, we're just doing the triple double crochets, the 3 double crochets in every stitch here. When you get to the corner, I do 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. And I'm going to do that on every corner. And you really don't notice the difference. It's just not that big of a difference, so I'm not worried about it, but it's how I get to the end with enough yarn. Sorry, I'm getting out of camera here. I think I'm zoomed in a little too much. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit. Now that the square is getting bigger. Okay, so we're back to the corner. We're going to do that once more. I'm going to do 2 double crochets, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. And then 3 double crochets and all the rest of the stitches along the side. Okay, back to the corner, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and then 3 double crochets in every stitch along the side. Now we get back to this corner. I'm going to go ahead and do, since we've already done the 3 double crochets here, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 double crochets to match all the other ones. Chain 1 and slip stitch join into the top. And as you can see, we have quite a bit left, but you want, you know, a fair amount. You want something to weave in your end with. You don't need this much. This is a fair amount left. This would not have been enough to do the extra double crochet in every corner. Maybe like 3 corners, 2 corners, 3 corners maybe. So, and it certainly wouldn't have been enough to do the extra double crochet and the chain in every corner. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right where it changes to blue. Pull it through. If you have that much left over and you want to go back and give yourself some more double crochets, you know, that's fine. There's no reason that you shouldn't. If you don't mind frogging some of your work, there's absolutely no reason that you shouldn't. That would be perfectly fine. I just don't care that much, honestly. So, I think it turned out fine. Like I said, no matter what I do, no matter how many stitches I put in, it curls. So I will need to block these. I will need to block them, and then they will be fine. So thank you for joining me. I hope this helps a little bit, in your granny square journey with the Red Heart yarn. It's a lovely yarn. Comes in some really cool color combinations. I do recommend it. It's definitely Red Heart yarn, so if you're sensitive to like the Red Heart feeling, like the scratchiness, be careful. But if you're not, I recommend the Granny Square yarn. It's fun. It's relaxing. Once you get the hang of it, it's relaxing. At first it is not, but once you get it, it's good. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.